Yes, the vibes. Let's get it going. Let's get it going on a Monday. What's up? Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very nerdy stream on a very nerdy week. Yeah. And I hope you guys are doing well. Hope everybody had a good weekend. Very happy to be with you on this Monday. Look, Across the Spider-Verse. I don't think there's another way to say it, man. A goddamn smash hit. It's a smash hit. Surprised me. Outdid its expectations. Like, damn. Seriously. Crazy. So we're going to talk about that because I think, it's not only that this movie did so well, and of course we got to see how it does in week 2. We want to see how it shakes out overall with its box office, but some of these headlines and some of these things that it was able to grab up, like, these are very good headlines. We've talked a lot about, different movies in the second weekend box office. Even when it was coming out to Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, we sort of spoke about how that second weekend really means a lot. And, we really need to see how are these movies doing? What's the narrative going to be out there? Because I think that's sort of a big part of, social media for movies these days is like, what is the narrative? And this movie has already come out the gate with the narrative being, that it's blowing up, that it's exceeding expectations, it's doing very unique, interesting things. So that's crazy. We're going to break it all down. In a town like Hollywood, they're going to sort of look to this and try to emulate. And I think it's really interesting that you have Mario crushing 1.3 billion and you have this movie, an animated Marvel movie, crushing in the way that it is. And I don't know. There's definitely some things changing when it comes to entertainment, the movie theater experience, and I want to break that down. I want to get into all of that. I think that is certainly worth talking about. There's a lot of different discussions that we're going to get into that. But there's also some other nerdy news out there in the world. There's nerdy news out there about DC. Really crazy stuff coming in. Apparently the director of The Flash, Andy Muschietti, is going to direct The Brave and the Bold. So there's a scooper out there that's talking about that. We will get into that later. There's also some Marvel stuff going on as well. But before we get in to all of that, the aliens. Let me take a sip. Actually, I'm kind of parched here. Let me take a sip of this Pellegrino real quick. I had my coffee and I'm feeling good, but sometimes you just need a little Pellegrino, Good stuff. So, yeah, there's aliens stuff too. And, maybe we could talk a little bit about the aliens. I don't know how much interest there would be when talking about the aliens. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm going to get a little upset if there's more desire for us to talk about the aliens than there is for Warhammer, okay? Let me just explain. I've been talking to you guys a lot about Warhammer, how into it I am, how excited I am about Warhammer and to talk about Warhammer, and none of y'all seem to give a shit. Oh, but all of a sudden, aliens? And we can pause on the nerdy shit. We can pause on the Marvel. We can pause on the Star Wars. And we can talk about aliens. Guys, got to get your priorities straight. Real talk. Get your priorities straight. Sheesh. Glenn, welcome to the Nerd Vengers. You are a Nerd Venger now. And look, before we get into the alien stuff, we'll do it. I'll do it because I'm here for you guys. Okay, so I'll do it. But I am going to do a Warhammer stream soon. And we're going all in on Warhammer, talking all about it. So that's happening. Glenn, welcome. Okay, before we get into the aliens, let me just say that, guys, we are doing a Nerdvenger meetup in October for New York Comic-Con. We're still pulling together plans and ideas for that, but I'm trying to let people know as fast as possible. We're doing something big at New York Comic-Con. I think, by the way, too, we're also going to do something with Star Wars Theory, do like a Nerd Theory meetup as well. He and I have been talking about that a little bit. We're not 100%, we don't have that all mapped out yet. But if you are a fan of the channel, fan of the content, if you've been a Nerdvenger member for a long time, this is the first meetup we've ever had since establishing the Nerdvengers as the community, and as the main way to support the content in the channel. And I think we have an incredible community. I'm really looking forward to hanging out with some of you guys in New York City for New York Comic-Con in October. It's going to be sick. We're also driving for members right now, so we're going to do a bunch of fun member giveaway stuff. And also, if we get to 2,000 members, I'm going to get a tattoo, which will be really cool. I'll get it probably at the meetup. If we get to 3,000 members, I'm going to cosplay as James Gunn and dye my hair and my beard white, and I don't know, maybe record a video saying that he's okay or whatever. And then if we get to 4,000, I'm going to do a nude calendar, but we don't need to talk about that. That's we don't have, that doesn't have to be a thing. We don't have to make that a thing. We could just pretend that we never agreed to that. And we can just keep it moving from there. Okay. So, let's talk about the aliens. I guess we could talk about the aliens. Okay. Just out of curiosity, put a 1 into the chat if you want to go aliens first. If you want to go aliens first, put a 1 into the chat. I don't really think there's going to be a lot of support for it. Mother of God. Mother of God. Okay. Wow. All right. Okay. Here we go. Let me get this pulled up for you guys. So, how many of you, just out of curiosity, how many of you are like into the UFO scene? Like, you know who Jeremy Corbell is? You know who Bob Lazar is? How many of you guys are in the scene, as it were? Couple people? Couple of you? Okay. I'll keep it really surface level. We'll go very TLDR on this. Dude named Bob Lazar claims to have worked at Area 51. Probably one of the, I think, most significant stories to the UFO community and just that whole group of people, because Bob Lazar is not full of shit. There's evidence that shows that he did work at a military base that in all likelihood was Area 51. And some of the stuff that he talks about also, like he talks about this propulsion device, which has seemingly been corroborated by other reports from like other military people and people that have encountered UFOs in the past. Okay, and so what Bob Lazar is claiming is that essentially we have had an alien and an alien spacecraft for a long, long time, which honestly is in a lot of movies and fiction, right? I believe, correct me if I'm wrong here, chat, in Independence Day, that's like the whole idea, is that there was the Roswell crash, right? Was actual aliens, and then we have the bodies and we have the craft. I think that's what it was in Independence Day, right? Okay, cool. So essentially, if you don't know anything else about it, let's just say there's a dude basically saying that shit was real. Okay, now let's go into this report here. A former intelligence official turned whistleblower has given Congress and the Intelligence Community Inspector General extensive classified information about deeply covert programs that he says possess retrieved, intact, and partially intact craft of non-human origin. The information, he says, has been illegally withheld from Congress, and he filed a complaint alleging that he suffered illegal retaliation for his confidential disclosures. Reported here for the first time. Other intelligence officials, both active and retired, with knowledge of these programs through their work in various agencies, have independently provided similar corroborating information, both on and off the record. the whistleblower. Dude, people are probably coming into this chat and just being like, what the fuck is going on? We're talking about aliens. Okay? Sheesh. The whistleblower, David Charles Grushk, 36, a decorated former combat officer in Afghanistan, is a veteran of the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency. Didn't even know that was a thing. And the National Reconnaissance Office. He served as the Reconnaissance Office's representative to the United Aerial Phenomenon Task Force from 2019 to 2021. From late 2021 to July 2022, he was the NGA's co-lead for UAP analysis and its representative. So that's like his acolytes and whatever. The task force was established to investigate what we called unidentified flying objects, or UFOs. They're now called unidentified anomalous phenomena. Yeah, they changed it because they didn't want the UFO people to get a dub. The task force was led by the Department of Navy under the Office of Undersecretary of Defense for Intelligence and Security. It has since been reorganized and expanded to all domain anomaly, blah, blah, blah. Grushk said the recoveries of partial fragments through and up to intact vehicles have been made for decades through the present day by the government, its allies, and defense contractors. Analysis has determined that the objects retrieved are of exotic origin, non-human intelligence, whether extraterrestrial or unknown origin, based on the vehicle morphologies and material science testing and the possession of unique atomic arrangements and radiological signatures. So basically he's saying got alien shit, and not only has the government, but also its allies and defense contractors had this stuff. That's wild. In filing his complaint, Grush, represented by a lawyer whose original intelligence, blah, blah, blah. We're not talking about prosaic origins or identities. The material includes intact and partially intact vehicles. In accordance with protocols, Dush provided Defense Office of Pre-Publication and Security Review at the Department of Defense with the information he intended to disclose on us. On the record state, cleared up for publication. A number of well-placed current and former officials have shared detailed information with me regarding this alleged program, including insights into the history, governing documents, and the location where a craft was allegedly abandoned and recovered. However, it is a delicate matter getting this potentially explosive information to the right hands for validation. This is made harder by the fact, rightfully or wrongfully, a number of potential sources do not trust the leadership of the all-domain anomaly, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so this is a lot, and it's very dense, but I think the main takeaway is that this guy, this whistleblower, and I think we'll see like a lot more on this, like different videos and different people breaking this down. This guy is corroborating the reports of Bob Lazar and saying that we have been covering up fucking alien shit for a long, long time. Now, I want to ask you guys this is like a real ass question, right? Before we, get into the nerdy shit, and we're probably gonna talk about Warhammer all day. Here's my question to you guys: what is more, I don't know, surprising? The fact that aliens exist, let's say if this is true, right? Like the fact that aliens exist and the government has been covering it up, or the fact that aliens existing and the government covering it up feels somehow way down on the totem pole of like shocking, really earth-shattering news. Do you get what I'm saying? Like this, I don't know. When the Bob Lazar shit was kind of popping off, and when he was, kind of blowing up in that, I thought a lot about like, okay, so let's say this is real. I think the only thing it really changes is that aliens are real. So, like, that question's just answered. We have some of their technology. That's probably why technology, especially since the 80s, has, like, exploded. And we're doing absolutely bananas, crazy-ass shit. It's probably also why we spend so much on defense. And also, I mean, does it even change anything? Like, this is what I'm struggling with here. This is what I'm struggling with. Like, yeah, probably real. Probably a huge W for people that are like, oh no, aliens exist and they have for some time. But what is it? Does it change anything? Other than maybe like the fact that it's like, okay, well, are some of the aliens like in charge? And by the way, I'm looking at you, Elon Musk. I've low-key thought Elon Musk is an alien for like 10 years. You know? And then, honestly, think about this. If there are aliens here and they're in charge, again, what does that even change? You still got to pay your bills. You still got to pay your taxes. This entire world is set up in a way that, like, this incredibly interesting, prevalent, wild revelation probably doesn't actually mean shit. So now, let's talk about the shit that actually matters. Across the fucking Spider-Verse! Woo! Am I right? How good was that shit? Ladies and gentlemen, how good was Across the Spider-Verse? Let's get into it. So, check out some of these fucking headlines that this shit has grabbed up. Second biggest opening weekend of the year for a movie. Second biggest opening weekend of the year for a movie film. Not just animated movies, but movie films. It had the best first day box office of the year. Period. Movie films. The first day box office, the biggest of the year? The biggest of the year? That's crazy. Second biggest Thursday night ever for an animated movie. That one's for an animated movie, right? I'll throw some numbers at you. This shit is pretty mind-blowing. So this movie opened to $120.5 million in the domestic box office. It opened to $208.6 million globally. And this movie cost $100 million. So we're talking about comparing this movie or putting it into conversation with films that cost double, maybe triple what this movie costs to make. It's bananas, okay? I think it is now the highest rated comic book movie on 2 or 3 different aggregates. I think I saw this pop up. I tried to double check, but maybe it's Letterboxd and maybe Metacritic or something like that. The highest rated comic book movies ever. You know? Crazy. So, I mean, this is a shockingly good opening. And I think that it really did sort of tick up over the weekend. Although you got to say that those Thursday previews were so strong. So it's like the hardcores, like a lot of us, we went out and saw it Thursday and then like talked about it. And we're just like, this is dope as hell. Holy shit. And that word of mouth really spread. And then the movie just kind of continued to do really, really well and exceed expectations by the end of the weekend. The first thing that I really think is worth taking note here is word of mouth really, really matters, right? And we've talked about this before, but damn, dude, word of mouth seems to really, really matter. You look at Guardians of the Galaxy and you look at this Across the Spider-Verse movie, and it just seems like word of mouth is still really, really key. And again, we'll see how this pushes into the next week. I know a lot of people are really excited for Transformers, but I have a feeling there's going to be a pretty good hold here for Across the Spider-Verse, because it is not just a good movie, it's a great movie, and maybe one of the best, maybe a genre-defining movie. Like, that's sort of the talk, is that it's that good. I think that's an accurate narrative, but I guess more importantly than being accurate, it's the narrative that's taken hold. You know what I mean? Even your usual suspects of people that are trying to try to like dog on movies or stuff like that can't necessarily go full on with it because they're going to look foolish. Like, the narrative of this film is that it's really fucking good. You know what I mean? You know, I had a tweet, I think it was on Thursday, and I said something like, man, I'm just not seeing the buzz out there for Across the Spider-Verse that I would normally see for like a big comic book movie. And I had a not a small amount of people comment on there with like the, get woke, go broke thing. Now, this was preemptively, but I share this with you to show you that there's a built-in narrative that people are looking to fit things into. And when a movie like this comes out, and I think a lot of people were unsure of how it was exactly going to connect with audiences and how it was going to perform, there were people ready to write it off based on your usual checklists of talking points as to why, going woke is going to make you go broke. And this movie didn't do that, right? It succeeded on a monumental level to the point where that narrative cannot be actually maintained by anybody that is, concerned with any type of, I don't even want to say backlash, but just pushback. You know what I mean? It's a huge W. So I think the first takeaway is like word of mouth really, really, really fucking matters still, right? And I do wonder with the comic book movie fatigue discussion, right? And this is something we've been talking about a good bit because comic book movies, especially like Marvel's Phase 4, definitely feeling weird, and I think fatigue was a real thing. I think fatigue might still be a real thing. Who knows? We're talking about this movie doing really, really well, and we're talking about Guardians doing really, really well because it looks like it's going to finish above the first movie, maybe not above the second movie, maybe it will, right? But we're talking a lot about these films and how they're doing much better than, Quantumania, other Marvel movies and projects of the past couple of years. But I think it's also fair to bring up, we don't know how good these movies could be doing had Marvel not, fell off a little bit in Phase 4. It's possible if they had just continued to raise the bar, there'd be even more fans willing to go check this out. And we could be looking at even bigger box office numbers. But I think what you're seeing in the data is that there's a whole group of folks that are maybe not going to just automatically go check out every comic book movie. And that includes Marvel movies, which is, scary for Marvel and Disney. But there's a whole group of folks like that aren't just going to go do it, but are still willing to go do it if the word of mouth is strong. If people say that it's a really great movie, they're going to go check it out. I mean, Quantumania must have had the worst word of mouth that I've seen in a movie in a long, long time. Like, it was very bad. I didn't recommend it to anybody. I really, really disliked the film, right? And so you're seeing the exact opposite happen with Guardians. You're seeing the exact opposite happen with Across the Spider-Verse. And I think both of those movies, it's worth noting that they really swing for the fences. You know, I was really curious, what kind of a movie were we going to get with Guardians 3? Because you try to, like, put yourself in the headspace of James Gunn, right? He has, you know, he started this thing. He was a big part of the success of Marvel in general, right? And then he's unceremoniously fired due to controversy and comes back, and it's like, okay, is this guy like gonna just complete his trilogy, move on, go through the motions, or is he gonna do everything he can to try to make an incredible movie? I think he did everything he could to make an incredible movie. Really swung for the fences, went really big with a lot of stuff. The action's incredible, the character stuff is great. So I think it just shows that when a comic book movie is really going for it and respecting the medium, respecting the characters, there's still a whole bunch of people that will check it out. Across the Spider-Verse does that, I think, way better. And it's not that it's a competition, but I think it does it even better than Guardians 3. You know what I mean? I think it does it better than Guardians 3. It is so meticulously put together. Like, you can just feel how much effort, thought, and just energy went in to all the different aspects of this movie. So just from a visual perspective, you're like, damn, like this is really mind-blowing. A lot of work went in here. From the writing perspective, you're like, damn. From the respecting the characters and doing the cameo stuff, you're like, damn. Like it swung for the fences on every level. And it just, again, I think it shows so much respect for what the medium is, so much respect for what Spider-Man is. It's dope. You know what I mean? It's dope. And that's what I think comic book movies need to be now. I think, and I didn't see Shazam 2, probably never will, but the impression I got from Shazam was like, it's fine, but it's just like a standard comic book movie. And I think our interest on seeing a standard comic book movie just isn't there anymore for a lot of people. Right? Because, I mean, that's one of the worst bombs of all time. I think it's the lowest performing DCEU movie ever, which is so wild. Like, that's really crazy to think about. Aquaman might go from being a billion-dollar franchise to being so disappointing in the box office. I mean, we'll see how that all shakes out, but it's just like, it's crazy, right? So I just think the biggest, like, signal here for hopefully everybody that's making these movies is you can't phone it in. You can't make the 90s movie anymore. You can't make the early 2000s movie anymore. You can't make the 2010s movie anymore. You have to swing for the fences, and you need to push this shit to its limit. Every single time. I don't think Marvel should be doing a movie. Like, I don't think there should ever be another Marvel movie that's like, oh, well, this one's just, this one's just, it's just a fine little adventure. It doesn't necessarily. No, I think every single Marvel movie should be pushing it to the absolute limit and going crazy. And maybe this will sort of usher that change in. You know what I mean? I'm really hopeful, too, that fans, and I'm wondering how you guys are feeling about this, right? I'm really hopeful that fans are more willing to embrace the multiverse, because damn, dude, like the multiverse in the MCU, I feel just like has not been utilized. You know what I mean? It just hasn't been utilized well, right? So there's fun stuff that I like that they did. Obviously, No Way Home was a good utilization. I really like what they did in Multiverse of Madness, but even that felt very tame and felt very, almost restricted. It's almost like he's piecemealing us the multiverse, which is like, bro, fuck that. Like, just go crazy with it. Because this movie went crazy with it. Like, my God, bro. And not just using it for fun fan servicey stuff. Although, please, gimme. I want all of that. But it also does an incredible job of leveraging the multiverse to give us character moments. Oh my God. The end of the movie. Like, wow. Right? So this is the North Star. This is, I think, the direction that we need to go in. Now, The other thing that I want to talk about here, and sorry, let me sip of this a little more Pellegrino, guys. Okay? This shit's fucking tasty. And it's way more tasty when it's cold. Okay, so I'm trying to just get it while it's cold. So good. Okay. Here's the other thing that's really crazy. We just saw Mario. Like, Mario's kind of a bad... We haven't talked a ton about Mario here. Because, like, that's not really what we do. But Mario is a phenomenon. Right? And for it to be animated... And I think... I don't know. Is it the biggest box office of the year so far? 1.3? Like, that shit's crazy. It's going nuts. Fast and Furious faltering the box office. Even Little Mermaid faltering in the box office. We'll talk more about that in a second because I want to talk about the diversity discussion because there's a probably right way to do it and a wrong way to do it. More correctly stated, there's probably a better way as far as audiences being receptive than some of the stuff Disney has been doing. We'll talk about that in a second. Here's the other thing that's on my mind, though. Animation for adults. And I'd like to dedicate this portion of the conversation to the nerd executive himself, Ryan, who hates cartoons and says that cartoons are not cool. So here we go. This is pretty wild that this movie is succeeding the way that it is, that Mario succeeded the way that it did, and I can't help but feel like maybe we are finally seeing a shift to where cartoons for adults are going to become a way bigger part of our cultural zeitgeist. In Japan, this is already the case. In a lot of Eastern places, this is already the case. Okay? Where anime in Japan is not seen as a childish or ancillary type of entertainment. It is the main source of entertainment. Manga and anime in Japan, that's like watching sitcoms and Marvel movies in the West. Right? And so it's like, okay, are we finally starting to see a large part? Because you look at the demos of this movie, it's a lot of like 18 to 35-year-old dudes, right? So are we starting to see that? And you look at some of the other box offices over the past couple of years when Hollywood has sort of struggled. There have been great successes, of course, but there have been a lot of movies underperforming in Hollywood, a lot of movies not doing well. I think twice last year, Crunchyroll movies broke into the top 10, top 5 when it came to the box office. So you're already getting like a crossover in anime coming into the West and like doing well out there. I would argue that the Mario movie taps into that audience, but it also taps into the video game audience. And video games, by the way, like I assume most of you guys know this because the Nerd Avengers are just like really, really smart. Like we probably have the smartest nerdy community on the planet. But did you know that the video game industry itself, just on sales, flat sales, is like at least 5 times bigger than the movie industry? Like, the video game industry is massive, dude, and has been for a long, long time. So there are a ton of adults that play video games. And I think a lot of those adults that play video games are, let's say, more accepting of animation because a lot of the cinematic and the storytelling that's done in video games is obviously done through CG. And it's sometimes often literally animation. You know what I mean? And the cutscenes, it's like such an important part of the genre. So I think that's partially why Mario did what it did, because Mario, it's cool. Like, I like the movie, but it is not even close to Across the Spider-Verse. Across the Spider-Verse is like a masterclass. Mario is like a good first project. You know what I mean? Like, damn, that's pretty good. You know, that's pretty good for a first go of it. Do you know what I mean? And I think that Mario's just able to tap into that huge group of people that are familiar with the Nintendo brand, but also a huge group of people that are like, no, animation, like going to see that animated movie seems like a damn fine way to spend my afternoon or evening, and I'm an adult, right? And going back to the anime thing itself, I mean, we've talked about on this channel over the past year, maybe even the past 2 years, anime and manga seem to be really winning when a lot of Western content is not. And I think part of this has to do with Western content getting really caught up in not necessarily just politics, but I would say optics is the best way to say it. Western media cares a lot about the optics of the media, of the cast and crew, all this different stuff. And Eastern media just doesn't care about that. They just don't. And so they're more focused on like true wish fulfillment, I think is really what it is. You know, Elisa and I talk about this all the time because we both love anime. We watch way more anime together now than we watch a lot of Western stuff. And we talk about what kind of stuff we want to show Liam and what kind of stuff we want him to be into. And I think anime does this incredible job of like just getting out of its own way, being pure wish fulfillment, and just having like positive messages. Do you know what I mean? And like Western media is way more concerned with optics, and that creates friction. You know, like again, your mileage may vary on how you feel about this. Some of you guys love the optic shit. Some of you guys are like, dude, it's fucking woke, you know, and getting all freaked out. Your mileage may vary. The point remains that anime is just literally on the rise and succeeding in a lot of ways where Western media is not. So does that have something to do with why Western audiences are more open to big tentpole animation movies? Because they've been already going into anime. They've already been going into manga. And they're getting their adult needs, as far as entertainment is concerned, satisfied through basically cartoons. I don't know. It's interesting. Are we at another weird turning point when it comes to entertainment in the West? I don't know. It's pretty cool. It's pretty interesting. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about with regards to this movie, well, actually, there's two more things I want to talk about. But the last serious thing that I want to talk about is representation and identity politics, okay? And you guys probably know this. Not really my favorite thing to talk about. I honestly don't care. I'll guarantee you this. I definitely don't care as much as many of you guys do, okay? But having said that, again, I'm here for you. So we'll talk about it. I think it is absolutely fair to bring up the fact that this movie is exceeding expectations and blowing people away and getting all of this love, and The Little Mermaid is just not. And these are both movies that have put representation at the forefront of their mission statement. That just is true, guys. You could, again, debate about it. You could say, you know, how you feel one way or the other, but it is just simply true that both of these movies put diversity as a sort of crown jewel of their mission, and one of them is really succeeding and connecting with people, and the other one is not. And I think there's actually probably a couple of different reasons why. Number one, I think just at a base value here, and I'm really curious like what you guys think about this, so please put your thoughts about this in the chat. I do think organically created diverse characters probably just will do better than race bent or race swapped characters. Do you agree or do you disagree? Because from where I'm standing, I think that is potentially a huge part of why Miles Morales is really connecting with a lot of people and why Black Ariel is not. You know, it goes back, and I don't necessarily like digging into this stuff because you're gonna upset somebody. Either way, you're gonna upset somebody. But it really reminds me of a lot of comments made by Michael B. Jordan. There was, and I wish I could find the exact interview, but he was talking about this, and he was talking about, race swapping versus creating black characters. And there's a reason that Michael B. Jordan didn't want to be involved in a project race swapping Clark Kent, but was all about doing like the Earth 23 Superman or one of the other black Superman that's already in canon, right? Because it's just different. And to be honest with you, some people, even within the black community, feel that that's a patronizing idea. To race bend is actually sort of low key. I don't want to say racist, but maybe elitist. It's like, oh, you can have this character. You guys can be this thing or whatever. You know, it just feels kind of patronizing. So I think that you open yourself up to criticism from sort of both sides. I also think there's certainly something to be said for how Miles and this movie in general and Across the Spider-Verse just feels authentic without being pushy, right? It just feels authentic, but it doesn't feel like it's trying to tell me how to feel about shit. Do you know what I mean? Like, it just feels like I'm able to absorb the richness of this diversity of culture. I'm able to just pick up little interesting things, but I'm not being told I must feel this way about this, or I should be cheering about this, etc., etc. Which, I don't know, man, is kind of fucking nice, to be honest. You know? Like, that's kind of nice, dude. And so I wonder if this movie's succeeding in that way, given the context of that big conversation that everybody's talking about. I wonder if it'll make an impact, make a change, perhaps get some people to dig a little bit deeper into how they're trying to portray, these different types of people and what's really the message of the movie. I don't know. Just my thoughts. I'd love to hear about your thoughts. Maybe it's a live action thing instead of a race swap thing, bro. That's possible. It's possible. I don't know. That's certainly possibly part of it. You know, I saw this take from Grace when she was like breaking it down. I actually thought it was a pretty good take, where she said, I think that animation might help because there's no human face or person that we can basically disagree with, right? Like a lot of like what happens today is like a person, like let's take Zachary Levi, for example, right? This guy comes out and basically just pisses everybody off by saying a bunch of weird shit and pissing everybody off. And then people like, well, hold it against him. You know, you think about Dungeons and Dragons, they made that comment about emasculating their, dudes or whatever. And it's like, for some people that really, really matters. Like Theory is one of those people, right? Who Theory wouldn't even go see Avatar 2 in theaters because of Cameron talking about testosterone. And that is true of a lot of people. Like a lot of people, things are so divisive these days and people are so ready to fight that like a human doing or saying something kind of hits you a little bit differently, puts you on maybe a little bit more on guard. The animation sort of softens that. There's no like, it's an avatar of a character. I wonder if any of that's true. I don't know. It is interesting. I think it's worth taking a look at. I think it's worth thinking about. Because at the end of the day, I think one of the worst thing that's going on in Western media is that despite how, look, we all, view these things differently. But I would really love for the conversation about the content to be more about the content and less about our pre-established disagreements or the messaging or all these different things. So one of the things that happens when a studio does this, you even look at like the Marvels. I mean, in some ways, it's on the studio that the discourse for the Marvels is going to be fucking awful as we're headed towards it, right? It's kind of on the studio that the discourse around She-Hulk was horrible. I say it's on the studio that the discourse about Kenobi was horrible. Like, again, Why did they create the Reva character and bring her out on stage with Ewan and Hayden for the Kenobi show and sort of just like wedge this new character of color into this discussion? I think they set her up for a bad time. You know? So, we'll see how the studios choose to learn or not learn from this. And, yeah, we'll continue talking about it, I'm sure, because you guys are obsessed with it. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about with regards to the movie specifically is something that shocked me and will probably shock many of you. This is our old buddy Jeff Loveness, who apparently wrote some jokes for Spider-Man. I certainly didn't catch this. Does he get the special, where's he at here? Where's Loveness at? I don't even see him up here. Let's see. No, I don't even see him up here. Oh, Jeff Loveness. Fuck, there he is. Okay. So, apparently, far right. Dude, we don't have to get political. You don't have to say that he's far right. Listen, Loveness. That's a joke. So Jeff fucking Loveness, who were all like, get him off of the fucking Kang Dynasty. Ah! Fucking Rick and Morty. Ah! Well, did you like Across the Spider-Verse? Did you think it had some funny jokes? Well, our old pal Jeff Loveness helped out with some of those jokes. So the next time you're slapping your knee, think about that. Isn't that crazy, though? For real. Isn't that crazy? Like, you just never know, man. You just never know. Maybe he should do Kang Dynasty. Thoughts? Yeah, it's pretty wild, huh? It's pretty wild. Pretty wild. But, yeah, so I think either way, man, the real TLDR when it comes to this movie is this movie fucking dominated, dude. It's so good. It's so good. And I think the next movie's going to crush. I hope we get more adult animated stuff. Like, dude, who's another character or what would be another, like, movie that you would want done with animation? Like, who else? What else would you guys love to see done in animation? Batman, of course. Batman Beyond. Deadpool. Zelda. Ooh, Zelda would be great. Middle part of Across the Spider-Verse was mid. The fuck, bro? X-Men. Yeah. Well, that's interesting. You bring up the X-Men, Renee. Man, this X-Men 97 better slap, bro. I'm not going to accept anything less than Across the Spider-Verse level. Like, you know what I mean? Warhammer? Ooh, I've got good news for you that I probably can't talk about. We're getting some more animated stuff for sure. Static Shock? That would be sick. Isn't there animated Static Shock? I thought there was. But yeah, like I'm talking about like a full-on movie. Like, dude, I'd love to see... I mean, dude, what if like we did some of the adventures of like the MCU characters? You know, we talk about a lot about like the Nomad Project, right? A Nomad Project where they're going through the multiverse to try to put the stones back with like this level of direction and care could be absolutely phenomenal. And it's interesting too because again, this movie only cost $100 million. This movie's about to make so much money, dude. You know? Next season of Arcane. Arcane was crucial to this movement, I feel. Like, Arcane was truly, I think, really important to this movement and this sort of push. Halo? Absolutely. Halo would work great. Halo would work great. TMNT looks dope, man. It really does. I was sort of skeptical of, like, the first trailer, and, like, Seth Rogen is just so weird these days, you know? You never know. Like, Seth Rogen literally be like, dude, people break into your car. It's fun. Sometimes they leave you a gift. It's like, dude, shut the fuck up. But the new TMT shit looks really good, dude. It looked really good in the theater, too. Mortal Kombat? Yeah, dude, Mortal Kombat would be great animated. 100%, yeah. 100%. Animated Star Wars? I mean, dude, some of the Star Wars animations, obviously, like Bad Batch, Tales of the Jedi. I really liked a lot of Visions. So, dude, yeah, there's good stuff there for sure. Watchmen or Berserk? Oh, my God. Dude, can you imagine if they did Berserk? And, like, with, like, this level of care and stuff? Whew. Yeah. Dude, I'd love to see us, and we don't know how this is all going to go, but I'd love to see a spin-off with, like, just Miguel, too. Because, like, I assume after all of this, like, Miles is going to just go do Miles stuff, right? But, like, Miguel and, like, doing all that, ooh, it'd be so good, man. Warhammer shirtless Cavill now. I don't know what it means, Mike. Why do you say that? Why do you say that like that? Smash Bros? Hell yeah, dude. Smash Bros would be great. Smash Bros would be great. Yeah. He's just so cool, man. You know, he's just such a cool character. Okay, so we talked about the aliens. We talked about Across the Spider-Verse. Let's talk about Ahsoka. Let's talk about Ahsoka real quick. We'll probably talk more about this on Nerd Theory. We should be on for a Nerd Theory tonight. Let me tell you guys a thing real quick. The fuck happened with Kenobi, man? Real talk. What happened with Kenobi? Look at this shot. And this is just one shot. But do you guys remember when the Empire shots came out for fucking Kenobi? And we were like, who is this Uncle Fester looking motherfucker right here? Do not tell me that's the Grand Inquisitor. Oh my God, bro. I remember that and just being like, dude, what happened? It's like a gas leak over at Lucasfilm or something. Like, what's going on, dude? Everybody's so stupid. Okay? This just one shot here. Look at how... the model itself, awesome. The armor, awesome. Lightsaber, awesome. But beyond that, the atmosphere created with the background is incredible. What the fuck happened with Kenobi? Seriously. God, dude, what a bullcrap of a show. And just in this one shot, and everything that I've seen about Ahsoka so far, man, oh, so good. Oh, by the way, I should probably say too, I had this crazy theory on Twitter that kind of made some waves, and we do have a video coming out. I don't know if it'll come out today or tomorrow. It's just a big, chunky video, very involved, and so I did a bunch of editing on it. David's doing some work on it. So we'll see. It might drop today. It'll probably drop tomorrow. But it's all about the multiverse in Across the Spider-Verse and the crossover to the MCU. A lot of juicy stuff. So I'm breaking that down. Breaking it on down. But yeah, I mean, let's just take a moment to just appreciate how good Ahsoka looks, you know? God damn. So good. Woo! Woo! So good. Okay, next thing we got to talk about is the brave and the bold. According to One Take News, which, whatever, because it's fucking big screen leaks. God! But you got to give credit where credit's due. According to Big Screen Leaks, Andy Muschietti is going to be directing The Brave and the Bold in the DCU. We talked about this before. It's already been kind of rumored out there, but I wonder what do you guys think? Does this make you want to see Flash more? Carl, Jesus. At least they brought back Ewan and Hayden deserves the comeback. Yeah, and look, Hayden's going to be doing a lot more stuff, So we won't have to just, like, here's where I'm at with it, Mariana. I'm looking forward to no longer having to give even that much credit to Kenobi. Because once you see Hayden in Ahsoka, dude, who gives a shit about him coming back for Kenobi? Like, he's just back. And yeah, maybe that was special because it was his first time back. That fucking shit was dog shit. I want to see him get proper due. And he did give a good performance in that last episode. But with him coming back, he might even be in the next movie. That's what I'm talking about. Like, Hayden obviously should be in Star Wars. Okay. Fresh off the heaps of early praise for The Flash, Andy Muschietti has been tapped to direct The Brave and the Bold for DC Studios. One Take News can confirm with multiple sources. Warner Bros. Did not respond to the multiple requests for comment. This news shouldn't come as a surprise. Muschietti's future with the DCU has been teased. And James Gunn himself said he wanted Muschietti for another project. When he was promoting The Flash in Toronto, he was asked and he said, I don't think I can talk about that yet. Do you guys remember we pulled up the video? We pulled up the video of him being asked the question, and it was like the most candid, like, real answer ever. Where he was like, I don't think I can talk about that yet. Like, he knew then, you know, and we had our suspicions, but it seems to be confirmed now. He's going to be the director of The Brave and the Bold. So, I don't know. Maybe this will help boost The Flash's box office. The Flash could end up still doing decently. Right now, it is not tracking well. Despite a lot of buzz and people saying that the movie's really, really good. I think, obviously, there's the Ezra issue. I think just as big as the Ezra issue is the reboot issue. And the fact that this movie is not really going to affect anything moving forward. So, we'll see. But I like this pick. You know, I'm not going to be so anti-DC that I'm not going to get excited about a good director being put on a Batman project with Damian Wayne, who I love as a character. So I'm excited, man. A little Grant Morrison getting covered by Andy Muschietti. What do you think, chat? Thoughts? Are you excited? Are you happy? You think it's bullcrap? What do you think? What do you think? Ewan thinking Kenobi was good as a massive L? We don't have to go there. Give us Damien or give us death. Yeah, dude, Damien's awesome. What a fun character. Yeah. Like, please no? What do you mean? Are you guys not excited that he's going to be the director? What? Still hard to get excited about the DC films now? I mean, yeah, because we're in limbo. But once, like, the new stuff starts... I mean, I want to check out the new Superman. Yeah, no. Oh, no season 2 of Kenobi? What? Nope, no Ezra, no Amber Heard. Done with the DCEU. Yeah, well, neither one of them will be in the new DCU, though. You have yet to see Flash in order to get excited or not, bro. You have yet to see Flash in order to get excited or not. I don't know what that means, bro. Daniel, welcome back to the Nerd Vengers. Good to have you, man. The guy who wants to bring back Ezra. No, thanks. Yeah, I really wish he wouldn't have said that. Really wish he wouldn't have said that. That was like a... I mean, I get it. And, like, he worked with him. So, whatever, bro. Whatever. Michael! Yeah, Michael, I think there's some truth in that. I'll get into that in just a second, bro, but I think there's definitely truth in that. But that's what I mean is, like, that's messaging, right? Or at least it feels like it. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I mean, though, is like, maybe we're talking about two different things. Maybe we're talking about, like, diversity, and then we're talking about, like, messaging, optics. Do you know what I mean? Ooh, Cadence. That's a good point. I didn't even think about that. That is pretty wild, though. I mean, he's not even doing press, though. You know? Like, so it's just such a weird... What a weird situation for them. Warner Brothers. What a bunch of jokers over there. What a bunch of jokers over there. Yeah. So I think that's pretty much all the crazy news. Is there any other news out there? Anything else that you guys want to talk about? I mean, we can get into Q&A, but is there anything going on out there in the nerdy world that I should be looking at? What else? We still have Battinson? Yes, unfortunately. Yes, unfortunately. He can speak positive about the film without saying what he said. Yeah, I agree. I agree. He should have just said, I think when, here, like, because there's a better, maybe it's a language thing. I don't know. But, like, he could have just said, I think fans, I don't want to say too much, but I think fans really need to see what Ezra does in this film. And I think once they see that, there's going to be desire to see Ezra do this again. That's like a better way to say it. Do you know what I mean? Is it just me? But I hate the Battinson movie. Oh, dude, Darian Stone. Now you're talking my language. Now you're talking my language. Now you're talking my language. Yeah, man. He's literally wearing hockey pads. I wonder what they're going to do with the Ray Stevenson's character in Ahsoka. I mean, he filmed the whole show. So they're probably just going to, they'll probably put, a little disclaimer or something. Like, they might even dedicate the shit to him or something. But, yeah. Your take on Jamie Foxx. I don't know what's going on with Jamie Foxx. I would love to hear it from him. You know what I mean? All I'll say about that situation is, it seems like a lot of different stories being thrown around. My biggest question is, why don't we just hear it from him? Do you know what I mean? And even if he's a more private person, I would argue that at this point, the situation has gotten so crazy that some kind of comment should be made. So that's how I feel about it. Is Jessica Drew in Madam Web? I'm not sure, but I think so. Yeah. I know, Gabriel. That sucks, huh? He was a Giga Chad, for sure. I work at a grocery store, and the Coke and Pepsi vendors both said they're not seeing the Flash because of Ezra. They don't want to show their kids either. Interesting. What is your thoughts on the rumor that Kevin Feige will step down after 5 years? I think he'll step up, if anything. But yeah, it's possible. I was actually thinking about doing a video, and I wonder if you guys would like this. I was thinking about doing a video because there's a weird rumor. It just started. I don't think anybody has talked about it in a substantiated way. But there's some talk that Kevin Feige might direct Secret Wars himself and then retire from Marvel Studios. So I wonder, I thought about doing a video about that, the pros, the cons, if I think he could do it. Yeah. Step up like the CEO of Disney. I don't think he would be the CEO, but I think he would take over the Alan Bergman job. Bob Iger running for president? I highly doubt that. I mean, maybe. I don't know, man. I think, I don't know. I don't want to get too political. Do you think Rosario drama will affect Ahsoka's performance? What do you mean? I don't know of any drama with Rosario. If there's drama out there, I'm not aware. Step like the dance films? Yeah, totally. He tried already and failed miserably? Wait, what are you talking about? Who tried what? There's too many combos coming on. There's too many. I've lost the plot. What are we even talking about? Warhammer? Beautiful. Here we go. Here we go. Yeah. The guy who did ATSV do Secret Wars. What? Oh, the Across the Spider-Verse folks? I doubt it. I doubt it. They're going to be really busy doing their own thing, and then whatever their next gig is, it's going to be huge. Aren't they overseeing some of the television and whatnot, too? I mean, I think they should just get a big deal with Sony, you know? Oh, Mariana, that shit is so old. That's old news, man. And that shit got thrown out. So I don't think that drama, and I mean this with all due respect, but that drama is not real. And anybody that's bringing that up is trying to make it drama. You know? It's not. Case got thrown out. Settled. It's fine. There is no drama. She's good. That was years ago, dude. Disney can't throw out Rosario and won't. Yeah, why would they? There would literally be no reason for them to do so. She's great. And Ahsoka's great. Can we see one of your Warhammer minis? Yeah, I mean, not right now. There's a bunch of them out there. Maybe I'll bring them out when I do the Warhammer stream. Because I'm just going to do a Warhammer stream where we're just going over the lore and just talking about Warhammer. Because you guys won't let me do it on these streams. So I'm going to just do a whole dedicated stream to it. And I'll show you some of my armies. Yeah. I'll show you some of my armies then. Bro. Okay, let's get into Q&A then. How's the baby? Baby's real good. Real big. He did a little like sprint thing. He can walk a little, but he keeps falling down. But he did a little sprint thing in the kitchen. Like took like 4 or 5 real quick steps trying to get over to me. It was pretty cool. Liam will be a year old in August. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that nuts? All right, let's get into the Q&A. So first today was Clan again. Thanks for becoming a member. Overbound Game Studio says new Ahsoka picture of the new Inquisitor. Yeah, we literally just went over that ship and it looks awesome, man. I'm so excited for that. I'm so excited for Ahsoka. Mandalore says, and once he gets 5,000, he'll shave his head. If we get to 5,000 members, I will shave my head. But I'm only saying that because there's no goddamn way we're going to get to 5,000. We're not even going to get to 4,000. Okay? But I will make that deal just for you, Mandalore. Just for you. 5,000 members, and I shave my head. No matter what Elisa tries to say, we'll do it. Javier says, at the end of the new Spider-Man in Earth 42, very quietly on the police radio, they were talking about the Sinister Six cartel. Caught it on my third watch. Oh, yeah, it's way deeper than that, though, because you can actually see in that, and somebody else brought this up. I wish I had the post pulled up, but, like, you can actually see which members of the Sinister Six are going to be in the next movie as a part of the cartel, because in the shots of New York, you see the different things. There's, like, 6 different characters that are teased. New My Time to Shine Hello tweet. What's it about? Brave and the Bold? Brave and the Bold? Christina Hodson to write. Okay, yeah. So Andy Muschietti to direct and Christina Hodson to write Brave and the Bold. Who is Christina Hodson? She wrote Birds of Prey. She also wrote The Flash, though. Okay. And Bumblebee. Okay. That Birds of Prey shit is a little like, what? Okay, so basically, she wrote a dope script that Andy liked making, so they're going to work together on Brave and the Bold. I think that's a W. I think that's a W. Yeah, I think that's good. Mariama says, what is the deal with Theory? Is he quitting YouTube? No, he's not quitting YouTube. I think you should watch that full video that he made, though, and I think he just explains it. He's just explaining, trying to sort of set the record straight on some things, and I thought it was a good video. I mean, the amount of hate that Theory gets is just so ridiculous. Like, it really is. It's wild. Like, I'll literally be on screen with him saying the most ridiculous, outlandish shit. And yet, the internet just moves the scope over to him. You know what I mean? It's pretty wild. JJ Lemont with a member for 30 months says the biggest shocker to me would be the world's governments coming together to unilaterally cover it up. Yeah, that's fair. It seems like there's maybe some government officials and whatnot that know about it. We'll probably find out more about it throughout the day. It seems like a really big leak that a lot of people are going to talk about. So, we'll get more info and all that. Aliens, man. Aliens. Yo, real talk, AI is crazier than aliens. What AI is doing right now, crazier than aliens. Fuck them aliens, bruh. Okay, Michael says, I used to be into UFOs. I ended up giving up because there's never any proof. It's probably alien drone tech. They are here. No life forms. I think it's advanced human tech like the Blackbird phone or plane. Yeah, it's possible, man. I mean, I don't follow it heavily or whatever, but I watched the Bob Lazar documentary. Watched a lot of Jeremy Corbell stuff. Yeah, I think that shit's real. I think it's real. I've kind of thought it was real for some time, but I just don't know how consequential it is. You know what I mean? But I appreciate the love, man. I appreciate the support. Julian says, Secret Invasion promo getting crazy with this alien news. Let's fucking go. Wouldn't that be nuts? It was all just a ploy to get us to watch Secret Invasion. That'd be wild. Chris says, what a fantastic time to be a part of this beautiful, sexy community of nerds. Nerd Avengers for life. I appreciate you, Chris. Thank you so much. By the way, too, we're going to have a Nerd Avengers stream tomorrow at 11 a.m. And who knows? Maybe we'll just talk all about aliens there, too. Appreciate you. Stuart Wilson says, I'm curious what other audience experience was when it said to be continued. My showing, people almost lost it. Last 15-minute build-up was insane. So my theater didn't react in a harsh way or whatever. I also knew that it was going to be a cliffhanger, so I wasn't as shocked. But I'm sure it was shocking for some people. Anybody in chat really shocked at the cliffhanger? I really like the pacing of the movie, but I think it's going to feel even better when you have both of them and you can watch them both back to back. I feel like that's going to be a pretty good experience. It was shocking. My theater lost it. My kids were kind of upset. Dang. I'm a scroll. And I'm dead sexy. Okay, Frank T. Calm down. Half my theater clapped. What? Yeah. Huh. What's for lunch? I'm not sure. I'm getting kind of hungry, though. They went to the next movie now. I hear you. My theater was really acting. What? What the fuck? Oh, active. Okay. There's a 5-year-old that was like, wow, that himself. That's cool, man. That's fun. Was there an end credit scene? I left? No, there wasn't. Nerd Executive, you fucking grumper. Okay. Chipawee says, do you think Across the Spider-Verse has kind of opened the door for the MCU to make Elseworld animation, starting with Marvel Zombies, maybe an animated Hercules series? I don't know. I mean, on the one hand, I would say yes and maybe, but also studios are really, I think Disney in general is shell-shocked, and they've slowed way down on their shows, especially the animated stuff too. And I'm kind of nervous. I don't know. I want them to nail it, but I think Victoria Alonso definitely did a lot of damage between Marvel and these visual effects studios, dude. I'm kind of worried about that, but of course it could open the door for it, but it requires that actual care, so I don't know. Michael Williams says Static Shock. Oh yeah, we talked about that. That would be sick. 831 Red says, I love the energy when we get a great movie. Hell yeah, dude. It's really good for the community. I mean, that's what it's about. That's what brought us in, man. That's why we're all here. C-Dub says, going to see it again tonight and can't wait. One criticism I had for Spidey is their lack of communicating. This was a part 1 of 2. I believe part 2 comes out in March. Yeah, it's like 9 months away, which is crazy. But, I mean, maybe there was a little bit of a poor marketing, or maybe they should have put it in the very beginning of the movie, part 1 or something like that. Fur, it's good to see you, brother. I'll get into that in just a second. So, yeah, kind of interesting. Interesting stuff for sure. Tito says the movie made it seem like Miles was a unique incursion in the Spider-Verse. So how are they going to explain P.S. Miles and live action Miles? Love from New York. Yeah, dude, that's a great question. And that is one of the things I'm curious about, because they have really established Miles as, you know, an anomaly, maybe the first anomaly, the start of something. So it's curious, like, did this Miles technically exist before the other Miles? Is there now, are the other Miles existing as variants of this Miles? Like, what exactly is going on? That is a really interesting question. I hope we get more clarity on that, because it's one thing to be very bold with the canon of a character, and I appreciate them going for it. It's really bold. It's another thing to figure out how to fit that into the mythos of the character in all mediums, right? So we'll see. I don't know. Daniel, welcome back to the Nerd Avengers, baby. Appreciate the love. Michael with a very generous $20 holla says, when Disney changes the ending to Little Mermaid by making Ariel kill Ursula instead of the prince, it's off-putting for 2 reasons. It's not true to the original, and can men not get a W? I don't get the change. This hurts IPs. Yeah, dude, there's some, and again, like, this is such a loaded discussion, and people, your mileage may vary, but I think it's true, man. I think Disney has become a fucking parody of itself. And I think at this point, the idea of, like, the Indiana Jones movie, and we don't know for sure if this is what it is, but the idea of the Indiana Jones movie being, like, grumpy Indiana Jones being chastised by his, like, younger daughter, and her being great and him being painted as shitty, like, dude, that is, like, par for the course, to the point where it's a parody, dude. We're mad about how Cool kills Elsa now. Dude, Parker, I understand you not giving a shit, but I think you're blind if you don't think other people care. I think it's been pushed in such a direction. It's been so flagrant that even if it's like, I don't necessarily care, but I'm just gonna eye roll at it, that still hurts the branding. Like, I think Disney used to be a brand that was really about entertaining, wish fulfillment, this thing that was apolitical. It didn't matter how you voted. You loved Disney. You loved Disney being a part of your family. You loved engaging in the Disney products, engaging in the Disney services, and it is different now. It is different now. And I think shit like that being put in the movies, it does matter, bro. It does. And I think it's, you know what, even beyond that too, and I don't want to, like, take it to, like, a really toxic or, like, really, like, negative place, but I gotta say, I don't even know how Disney moves forward from here. I think there's irreparable brand damage done. Like, I don't even know how they move forward from here. And I've brought this up a couple of times over the past couple of weeks, but it is hilariously ironic that earlier this year on an investor call, Bob Iger got up there and talked about how many subscribers they lost, how far off of profitability Disney Plus is. But he said, when The Little Mermaid comes out, you will see how strong the Disney brand still is. He said that shit. And if you look at how it's performing, especially overseas, damn, there's something wrong with the Disney brand. And it could still perform relatively well and be looking really, really good. But if this thing doesn't even make $500 million, I mean, what does that say? That's your CEO. He came out and said that shit. I don't think he was lying. I just think he didn't know how badly they have fucked up that brand. So we'll see. Anyway, didn't mean to get on that tangent. Thanks for that one, Michael. Carl says with the $10 holler, since animation is the latest craze, do you think KK will make Filoni animate his movie now? Should we have just asked for all things to be animated now because it is cheaper and easier? I don't know if it's easier, but cheaper is fair. No, I don't think they should do that. I still think they should do live action. I think Dave is doing some phenomenal stuff with live action. But I just think that you will probably see more animated movies. And I think more, and this is important, adult-centric animated projects that are really good, that they put a lot of effort into. You know what I mean? Watch Those Wrist Rockets says, I work at a grocery store and the Coke and Pepsi vendors both said they are not seeing The Flash because of Ezra. They don't want to show their kids either. Dude, the Pepsi people and the Coke people on the same team, Flash is in trouble. Flash is in trouble. Candle says, think Sony is still plotting on leaving the MCU? I don't think so. I mean, this is a really interesting one. I don't know for sure, man, but I kind of feel like Sony is trying to build their own shit while also acknowledging that, yeah, they need to connect to the MCU. Do you know what I mean? This movie is a huge hit for them. It's phenomenal. This is huge. It's totally different than what they have going on with Morbius, Craven, the animal rights activist, and fucking TikTok hot chick movie, Madam Web. Like, these are different things, you know? So I don't know. I think Sony is probably a divided house. There's probably some people over there like AV Arad, maybe Tom Rothman, that are like, we don't need Kevin Feige. Look what we can do. And then there's like Amy Pascal that's like, no, we need to fucking connect to Kevin's shit. And we also need to make really, really good stuff. So I don't know. To be determined. Drew Smith says, rank the Spidey films stream incoming way better than a Warhammer stream. Hey, you don't say that. Hey, don't say that. I've been thinking a lot about this, and there are movies I like better than Across the Spider-Verse. But if we're just talking on the merits of writing and storytelling, is there a better comic book movie out there? Like maybe Winter Soldier. But again, I think Winter Soldier is just, it's genre. It's like, it's the way they use genre. It's like flawless in Winter Soldier. Logan, incredible. But Logan stands on the shoulders of like 20 years of X-Men movies and leverages it, you know? Like, is there a better written comic book movie out there as far as just story? Love and Thunder? God damn it! Blade? Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. It's a tough one. That is a very, very good movie. It's tight. Ant-Man 3. Okay. That's why I don't read the chat. The Dark Knight, for sure. Quantum Mania. Jesus Christ. Allah! Fur says, dude, F the aliens. If aliens, or whatever these guys are real, it means Star Wars technology is at least a bit closer. Much love, everyone. Yeah, but like... But like, is it though? Like, is it even that cool? Is it even that? Is it going to change anything? I don't know. I think this is like finding out your great-great-grandparent was a part of some crazy sex club. Where it's like, wow, that's really wild. Didn't know that about Nana. Also, doesn't change anything. Who cares? You know? Like, I don't know. You guys tell me. Is it like, oh my God, aliens? Or who gives a shit? You tell me. Is it, oh my God, aliens? Or who gives a shit? What do you think? Caden says, is it dumb for me to think that Miguel is the father to Jessica Drew's baby? I don't think that's not the relationship I thought was going on there. I feel like they would have touched on that. Yeah. I don't know. There's some tension there, but I think it's just like workplace tension. Jensen Baker says, by the way, the person the 42 spider was going to bite was Earth 42 Miles, not Peter. Just that I think you said Earth 42 Peter was going to be bit. Well, they say that in the movie, but then in the one scene, it does look like the spider was about to bite Miles. So it is interesting. It is interesting. I don't know. We'll see. Michael says, it's not just the Little Mermaid. It's the accumulation. It's like ocean waves over a rock. It wears on over time. I wouldn't even notice if it was just one. True. Revival Fitness says, as a Dominican kid from New York, the most I appreciated from Spider-Man was the dialogue, especially between Miles and his parents. 100% authentic and realistic. Yeah, I mean, from the outside looking in, man, it felt just really authentic to me. And it felt like I was being treated to like a slice of privacy rather than like this like weird artificial like, yo, this is what it is. You must like this, kind of a feeling. Just felt like the right vibe to me. Brian Clark says, do you like Across the Spider-Verse more than Multiverse of Madness? And which do you think handles the multiverse better? I think what I could say is this. I think I could say that the story for Miles in Across the Spider-Verse is better than the story for Doctor Strange in Multiverse of Madness. But I would still have to say I like Multiverse of Madness more. And there's probably multiple reasons why. I think one of the biggest things is like at the time too, guys, you got to understand that like we didn't know about Secret Wars. So I strongly felt that's where we're going. And to get all the Secret Wars teases and to have, a totally different Earth with freaking Reed Richards and Charles Xavier together, like that's just wish fulfillment for me. That's on another level. I will also tell you right now that despite what many critics and doo-doo brain poo-poo faces say, that is an incredible film. That's, I think, a masterclass of editing, cinematography. Like, it is oozing with Sam Raimi's love of cinema, what you can do with the frame, the cut, and the lens. It is oozing with film school level goodness that I just really, really appreciated. Multiverse of Madness was hot garbage. How dare you! I thought we had something! And now we're enemies! Holy shit. E2. Cadence. Logan says, what are the odds Beyond the Spider-Verse is the biggest superhero movie of 2024? Box office-wise, I say very high. I think only Avatar 3 outgrosses it this year. I don't know. It's got some really steep competition in the next couple of weeks, and things are still really front-loaded, so it's hard to say. I gotta tell you, though, I would love for that to be the case. I would love for that to be the case. How many people haven't realized that Henry Cavill Warhammer show is a talk show? It's not that. That's not what it is. Now, that show may never materialize, but that's not what it is. You freaking butthole. Golly, you guys. Trying to trigger me on a Monday? I'm trying to have a good-ass Monday. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we were having a good-ass Monday. Sheesh. Sheesh. Darth Shibby says, Josh, I was zooted off my ass when I watched Across the Spider-Verse. Freaking amazing. It's so immersive. Felt like I was riding a unicorn across a rainbow. Damn, Shibby. Sometimes, I'm older now and I'm a dad and, all these different things. But, Shibby, sometimes I get jealous. I just feel like, you just take it there, You're going for it. And I respect that. And maybe someday I'll do that too. Maybe someday I'll do that too. Top 4 box office of the week: Disney or Disney Adjust. They are fine. Haters are just louder. No, that's actually not true. But I don't care enough to argue facts with you. So you're wrong. And I've got the microphone and the camera right now. So look at me, SS Hair. Look at me. I am the captain now. I say how it is. I say Nerd theory today? I believe so. I believe there will be a nerd theory unless something crazy happens. It's 2023. No different opinions allowed. No, you're allowed. But I am the captain. Just thought I'd say I appreciate your loyalty to Theory over the years as a fan of his and yours. Shows your character because any YouTube would backstab. Well, I guess thanks, but also, like, I wouldn't be loyal to Theory if I seriously thought he was, like, a douche. You know what I mean? Like, he's a good dude, man. He's human for sure, and I think that, you know, he's had to deal with shit that, like, I've never had to deal with. So, yeah, I'm sure even he would tell you, like, there's times where he's handled stuff really well, there's times where he's handled stuff poorly. But I genuinely think you know what I really like about Theory is, like, he's just a dude, man. He's just a dude that loves Star Wars. He wants to make good content. He wants to do right by his fans. And he really wants to do right by Star Wars. You know? Like, at the end of the day, like, dude, Star Wars is tough, bro. I have significantly backed off the amount of Star Wars I cover and talk about. And it's still, like, it's tough, man. It is challenging. So, yeah. I can't imagine what it's like for him. He's like, fully immersed, you know what I mean? Fully immersed. But I think he's going to do something pretty cool with that next Vader movie. Which will be great. All right, guys. I think probably going to get on out of here. Appreciate y'all. Much love. The Flash ain't going to make any money because so many fans have already seen it since there's so many free screenings. That actually could be true. Yeah. That could be true. They have done a lot of screenings. It's kind of wild, huh? All right, everybody. Much love to you all today. Appreciate you guys. Big video coming out either today or tomorrow about Across the Spider-Verse and the Multiverse. Hopefully some crazy news drops this week. And we will cover it here. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video. Is everybody gone? Did everybody leave? Yeah, man. Another one in the books. Another one in the books. Feels nice. Make sure to go around the tower and enjoy the amenities and just catch a vibe in this summertime, man. I'll see you guys later. Remember to open up your third eye and wash out your stinky. Bye!